Imagine having a button that prints money. A magic, golden button that, when pressed, dumps millions into your bank account. Would you use it? Now suppose that the button is illegal. Suppose it's a federal crime carrying up to 20 years in prison. But what if you knew that you would never get caught? What if the people in charge of investigating you were you?
He made $2.5 billion today and he made $900 million. That's not bad.
Welcome to the most brazen financial heist in American history, happening right now, in plain sight, orchestrated by the very people who swore to protect Americans from exactly this kind of corruption. You know the story by now. Trump slaps massive tariffs on Canada, China, and the damn penguins, triggering an economic earthquake. Markets nosedive, wiping out hundreds of trillions in retirement accounts and savings. The United States' very stability shook to the core. Then, with perfect timing, he tweets this. Yeah, this is a good time to buy. Now, we regular folks don't know what this means, since 103% of what he has to say is drivel and lies, but his insiders, oh, they do know. Hours later, surprise, he announces that he's pausing those same tariffs for 90 days. Markets skyrocket. Anyone who bought before the announcement makes a killing. Just a coincidence, right?
Is all this legal? Absolutely not.
Just the art of the deal.
This has just wreaked havoc on the markets, of course, but there is another profound danger as well, and that is insider trading within the White House, within the administration.
Inside trading. Let's be crystal clear about what this means. Using non-public information to make stock trades for personal profit. It's not just unethical, it's a fucking crime. But the White House insider trading is just the appetizer. The main course of corruption comes from Congress itself, specifically one Marjorie Taylor Greene. The woman who spent years screeching about the globalist elite apparently decided to join them by evidently committing securities fraud. No?
Every reporter in DC should be hounding Marjorie Taylor Greene right now and asking her about her stock trades. Some of us were actually at the Doge committee just yesterday, where before the tariff announcement happened, where she was talking up the stock market. And what I want to know, what we want to know is, what did Marjorie Taylor Greene know before that announcement happened? And what stocks did she and her family trade leading up to that announcement?
What indeed, Congressman? What indeed? See, just hours before Trump announced his tariff pause, sending markets soaring by over 9%, MTJ was at the Doge Committee meeting, giddy as a schoolgirl, hyping up the stock market. Then, miraculously, she and her family made some rather timely stock purchases. What a bizarre coincidence. The same woman who claims to be fighting for the people against corrupt elites apparently has a crystal ball when it comes to Trump's policy decisions. But don't worry, we know exactly what trades she made in 30 to 45 days, when disclosure rules require her to report them. How convenient for her, right?
We know that members of the House of Representatives will have to disclose any stock trades that they've made 30 days from the date of those trades, or potentially no later than 45 days. And so the reality is people are going to have to pay the piper in terms of disclosure.
Pay the piper. Yeah, let's be real. Disclosure without consequences isn't accountability. It's a newsletter informing you hard-working Americans of just how much of your children's inheritance is now in pockets so large that they can hardly notice it. And speaking of paying the piper, let's emphasize who's really footing the bill for this casino economy. You and me. The working and middle classes. We just got slammed over a table. Every American with a 401k or pension fund is especially screwed. Every small business that's trying to plan for next month's inventory. Every farmer wondering if they have a market for their crops. Because while MTJ and Trump's cronies are playing a rigged game of financial musical chairs, the music will eventually stop. And when it does, they'll be sitting on golden thrones, while the rest of us are scrambling for plastic stools that we can no longer afford because China isn't tolerating this bullshit, and nor should they.
中方必将 奉陪到底。
Make no mistake, my friends, this was one of, if not the, biggest transfer of wealth from the working and middle classes to the rich ever. And the damage isn't just the dip, it's far worse than that. To make more money than they need, Trump has destroyed trust in the United States. Indeed, the real cost isn't just temporary volatility, it's lasting damage to the perception of fairness and transparency. When investors begin to doubt whether they're playing on a level field, retail participation drops, liquidity dries up, capital flees to safer havens. So what's the endgame here? Hakim Jeffries is demanding answers.
We need to get to the bottom of the possible stock manipulation that is unfolding before the American people, including what, if any, advanced knowledge did members of the House Republican Conference have of Trump's decision to pause the reckless tariffs that he put into place.
But investigations are slow, and in the meantime, American financial markets, once the envy of the world for their transparency and rule of law, have been transformed into a private casino for Trump and his cronies. Richard Painter, former White House ethics lawyer, understands the stakes.
I think the president is enjoying the power he has to make markets move 1,000 points on the Dow, 2,000 points, 3,000 in one direction or the other. And this is very, very destructive of the public confidence in our securities markets and our economy.
Yet here we are, watching it happen in real time.
We do need to change the law so that sitting members of Congress cannot trade stock, period, full stop. And until we get to that point, we obviously have to continue to highlight why this is problematic. And if Republicans are unwilling to hold a hearing on this matter, I can assure you Democrats will.
Of course they're not willing. They're in on the grift. Here's the bitter truth. This isn't just about a few politicians getting rich. This is about the systematic destruction of market integrity. It's about stealing the future from ordinary people who played by the rules. When financial markets become rigged games, when inside knowledge becomes the only way to win, when the referee is betting on the outcome, that's when the entire system collapses. And make no mistake, the damage is done. Even with the market's partial recovery, experts warn that volatility will continue as trade wars escalate. You don't get to wound proud nations and expect them not to find solace in one another. It can't be stressed enough. The deeper wound is to trust itself. Once investors stop believing in the fairness of the markets, they pull their money out. They stop investing in American companies. They look for safer places to park their capital. And that means fewer jobs, fewer wages, and diminishing prosperity for everyone. So the next time you hear MTJ railing against corrupt elites, remember this moment. Remember how she and her MAGA colleagues had the chance to prove their populist credentials by standing against the most obvious case of market manipulation in modern history. And instead, they joined the plunder. They are not draining the swamp. They are the swamp.